I'm Pete McCall, and welcome to this episode of the All About Fitness podcast. This episode is going to be a quick fit tip, and I know you're going to love the topic, so pay attention and listen close. So, with that, let's get into this quick fit tip because I know you're going to be excited about it, and it's about sex. And I don't mean this in a dirty way. I really don't. I don't mean this in a ha ha giggle giggle. I mean, come on, we're all adults, right? And when we look at wellness, when we look at health and wellness, we have different components of that. You have the whole wellness wheel. We have exercise. That's my specialty. I've been an exercise physiologist. I have a master's degree in exercise science. I have a couple different personal training certifications. I'm a certified strength coach. Yeah, I know exercise. I know fitness. But in wellness, you have nutrition. You have lifestyle habits like sleep, like hydration, meditation, mindfulness, relationships with others. All these things are very important. It's not just exercise. We look at exercise and yeah, that's important. But if we want to have a good life, if we want to achieve optimal wellness, if we want to achieve optimal health, it needs to come from a number of different areas. Your workouts can be dialed in, but if you're not following the right nutrition program for your needs, you might not be getting the results you want. Likewise, you could have a killer. You could be eating paleo, vegan, keto, whatever. You could be following a killer nutrition program, be very mindful about what you eat. But if you're not doing high intensity exercise, if all you're doing is walking and maybe one or two other things, and you're not doing high intensity exercise, you're not stressing your body in an optimal way to get the greatest benefits. And you could be doing that. You could be doing nutrition. Your exercise could be dialed in. But if you're not getting the sleep, the right amount of sleep, or you're not getting good quality sleep, then everything else is going to be for naught. So good wellness is a balance of everything. But because I only know fitness and exercise, I try to go outside to get other experts in. This is February, right? This is February. We got Valentine's Day this month. It's also Black History Month. I want to give a big shout out. And hey, I'm going to this is a great podcast I've been listening to. It's Quote of the Day by a guy named Sean Croxton. Turns out Sean's another San Diego guy. I have never met him personally, but I've become a big fan of his podcast. But last month on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, January 17th, Sean Croxton ran the entire I Have a Dream speech on his Quote of the Day podcast. And it's powerful. And I'm going to have my kids listen to it this month. So anyway, I just want to acknowledge it's Black History Month, but it's also Valentine's Day. And that's why I'm going to be doing a couple episodes about sex right now. And this is a great time. This is a great reset, right? We have so many other things that have been going on in our lives. I don't know how many of you have seen those memes. It feels like we're in the 14th month now of 2020, right? So many crazy things going on. But the reality is that no matter what, life is always going to be happening, right? Life comes at you full speed. So it becomes easy to become a little distance from our partner. It becomes easy to get focused on work. It becomes easy to get focused on kids. It becomes easy to get focused on the activities you enjoy doing. And what can that do? That can kind of take you away from your partner. That can take you, if you're married, that can take you away from your spouse. If you're in a long-term relationship, I mean, we've all gone through those periods. With this being February, with this being Valentine's Day, now is the perfect time to reset that. Now is the perfect time to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we do need to set up a date night. Maybe you had one before COVID and the craziness, and you need to get back to that. Because there are health benefits from sex, right? Sex, you touch, your body develops hormones and neurotransmitters. We got oxytocin, we have dopamine, we have serotonin. All these are the neurotransmitters and hormones that make us feel good. Norepinephrine, epinephrine. The body releases these chemicals, these hormones during sex. That's one of the reasons why we feel good during it, right? It's not only, it's part of the stimulation process. And exercise supports a good sex life. And let's face it, right? I mentioned earlier about nutrition, about sleep. But when you are clicking with your partner or partners, hey, All About Fitness podcast, I am not going to judge. Whatever goes on between consenting adults, hey, go for it. Make sure everybody's consenting, everybody's on board. But whatever goes on between you and your partner or partners, you know that it works just a little bit better when you're connecting on a regular basis, when you're intimate on a regular basis, right? So your nutrition can be dialed in, your exercise can be dialed in, your sleep can be dialed in. But if you're missing that intimate component of your life, you're not going to be operating at your highest level of your highest ability. You might not be achieving your optimal health and wellness because a healthy sex life does support a healthy immune system. A healthy sex life does support good exercise. A healthy sex life does support good nutrition. A healthy sex life does absolutely fundamentally support what you do in the gym. So all these are very important components, right? Now, this doesn't mean go right out and jump on some dating app and start hooking up with whomever. No, especially not during a viral pandemic or a pandemic based on a virus, right? I mean, if you're not don't have a partner right now, that's life. Things happen. But if you do have one, if you are with that special someone and you've kind of just, there's a little bit of space between you, maybe just things have been getting in the way and we know you're spending a lot more time at home. We have responsibilities with kids aren't in school, whatever the situation is. Hey, this is February, this is Valentine's Day. See if you can do a reset. Make an extra emphasis to spend a little bit of time on your partner. Do something nice. Do something that cares about them. And that doesn't mean just waiting at home wearing a special thing. No, do something small. I listened to the Office Ladies. That's one of my favorite podcasts right now, Office Ladies, where they're going through it. It's Jenna Fisher and Angela, and I forget her last name, who they play Pam and Angela, they play Pam and Angela on the show. And they talked about how when their husband wants to get them in the mood, they take out the trash. I mean, something small like that. The point is, how can you do something extra for your partner? How can you get reconnected? Because sex and intimacy is an important part of the human experience. Tell somebody you care about them. Make that extra effort. Not only send them flowers, clean up the house, right? If you've normally fallen into chores and you can tell your significant other is busy, do something they normally do. Balance the checkbook, maybe pay a couple bills, take out the trash without being asked, get the car clean. Little things like that go a long way. And is it going to help you in the gym to hit your max lift? Maybe, maybe not. But that could help you reestablish connection with your partner. So on this quick fit tip, I want you to realize that a healthy sex life is very important. It's an important part of an optimal, healthy life. And I mean that. And being connected with your partner or partners, being connected with that individual in your life and being intimate with them helps establish trust, helps establish a deeper level of connection. And that's one of the biggest things when you look at how we can slow down exercise and how we can optimize the lifespan and how we can stay fit and healthy throughout aging. One of the biggest components is connecting with others. Now, most of us might only have one other significant other. That's fine. Again, I'm not going to judge, but it's me having that connection. And it starts with that person you're closest with. It starts with your significant other. So this month, I implore upon you on the All About Fitness podcast, make that special effort. If your sex life has gotten off the rails or just there's been a little bit of distance because it's been so we just know what's been going on, see what you can do to restart it. See what you can do to kindle it. Maybe it's a night away somewhere. Hey, when I was in Brazil a couple years ago, I was down in Sao Paulo. I was in Sao Paulo for an event, and I was talking with a couple of local Brazilians, and we're talking, and I think it was my driver. We were driving around, and I noticed that in one area there are a lot of hotels, and I'm like, hey man, what's up with all these hotels? Because they look, and he told me that in Brazil, multiple generations of a family live together. So in Brazil, and I'm sure in many other countries, and maybe we're experiencing that now here in the States. And maybe that's one of the reasons why you haven't been connected with your partner or been connected with your spouse. But he said in Brazil, because you have multiple generations of a family living with one another, it's very common for a weekend night for the younger generations to go get a hotel room somewhere. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing. I mean, we kind of get an idea of what's going to happen at the hotel, right? But why not do the same thing? If you have a couple generations, if you have your parents moved in because of COVID, or maybe you're not getting out as much because of COVID, do what you can to make it special. Book a night somewhere, or at the very least, book a night for your parents to get the heck out of the house, or book a night for your kids. Send them over to a friend's house. Because I know maybe that's one of the big things. Maybe your kids haven't been spending the night out other places because we've been worried about that. Whatever we can do, whatever you can do, I'm going to challenge you for this month to try to do something extra special. Rekindle that spark. Try to make good sex a component of your life. Doesn't need to be every day, but make it a component of your life. And here's the deal. I want to start creating a community here, right? So if you do something, you don't need to tell me what you do, but please, if this helps out, if it gives you a little extra spark and it gets you to kind of like restart the fire, please shoot me an email, pete@petemccallfitness.com, and let me know you followed up on that. Because it really is. In my life, in my experience, when everything's rocking and everything, you're connecting with your partner, everything else falls into place, man. Your nutrition's a little bit better, your sleep is awesome, your workouts seem to fly, you seem to shine, however you want to describe your workouts. But in the world of wellness, in the world of optimal health, you pay attention to these other things. Do not forget to overlook sex and the role that sex plays. That's a quick fit tip for today. Hey, if you want to reach out to me, let me know how it goes. Pete@PeteMcCallFitness.com. I do not need the details. I don't. Just let me know that it made a difference. Follow the All About Fitness podcast on Instagram to be kept up to date with how-tos. A big thank you to Chelsea and Blake for giving me some great ideas on how to promote the podcast. And if you want to get more information, go to PeteMcCallFitness.com, PeteMcCallFitness.com. Sign up for my mailing list, and you'll get 1 or 2 great pieces of content a month that'll help you learn how to use exercise to enhance your quality of life. Hey, so with that, as always, thank you for stopping by, and I look forward to having you join me for future episodes of All About Fitness. I'm going to be doing some killer how-tos on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, follow the All About Fitness podcast to stay up to date. Plus, the other thing I'm going to be doing on Instagram is when I have a chance, I'm going to post ahead of time, a day, 2, 3 days ahead of time about guests coming up on the podcast and give you a chance to ask me questions to ask them. So if you're on Instagram, follow All About Fitness podcast. I will be posting on stories. I will be posting on my feed who might be upcoming on the All About Fitness podcast. And you can DM me questions that you would like to ask on the podcast. If you want to learn a little bit more about how to use exercise to not only enhance your quality of life, but to slow down the aging process, go to PeteMcCallFitness.com. Sign up for my mailing list. That's one way. Buy a piece of content. I have ebooks available. I have the functional core training ebook. I have exercise program for the Fountain of Youth. That should be exercise program design for the Fountain of Youth. But in the functional core training ebook, I teach you what you need to know, design great workout programs from the inside out. In exercise program design for the Fountain of Youth, I teach you how to use exercise to slow down the aging process. That's the subject of my upcoming book. The ebook is the precursor. That's the prequel, if you will, to my upcoming book, Ageless Intensity, which will be out in May.